This empty chair represents the addict who died today, not knowing recovery was possible.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of This Empty Chair, our live podcast. I have two beautiful men sitting here with me tonight, and it's just going to be an honor and privilege to hear them share their stories on how they got through addiction and how they're getting through recovery. So a great night to tune in. So to welcome to all our listeners. In 2021, 100,300 individuals lost their life to overdose. In the Merrimack Valley alone, there was 440 overdoses that were reported, and 46 resulted in death. Since January 1st of 2022, in the Essex County, 376 overdoses have been recorded. There was an average of 9.4 fatal overdoses per month, which is a total of 47 a month. It's actually an 18% decrease since 2021, which there was an average of 57 per month. In the Merrimack Valley, which consists of Andover, Haverhill, Lawrence, Methuen, and North Andover, we have had 169 reported overdoses, with 17 resulting in deaths. The overdoses that I reported from Essex County, which is Officer Danny Sinclair out of Newburyport, PD. And these are the overdoses that we know of, like never mind the ones that happen in the house that families are narcanning and that we're not familiar with. But this is the report that I receive, and I just wanted to share it with everyone because these numbers are the why we keep MVP ASAP going, and we keep the podcast going because we want to reach individuals that are struggling. We know that one life is one too many, and to lose already 17 in our Merrimack Valley alone is one life too many. So many things lead to addiction, whether it be genetics, environmental trauma, whatever it is. Our guests will share their stories and talk to us tonight about what led them to addiction, but most importantly, how and why they recovered. So always before I begin, I want to thank our sponsors. You'll see their banners throughout the evening. These are the organizations that help this podcast go on by buying a banner. Not only are you getting marketing and advertising, that funds taken for them to purchase that banner gets used for individuals who need scholarships to sober living. Did we scholarship you?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
No, we did enough for you. So I wanted just to thank all of them. Bob and Andrea Surrett of Alternative Home Health Care right in Methuen. Big shout out to Phil and Fran Leahy of Circle of Hope. John Croto and the Croto family at Cornerstone Services, Fred Orazio from Essex Companies, Officer Danny Sinclair from the Essex County Outreach, the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center, Saeed Coates of Haven of Hope in Methuen, Lawrence Methuen Community Coalition, Sid Harris at Methuen Events, Lauren and Patrick over at Title Boxing Club in North Andover. A big shout out to Tim Hinault at Top Seal Addiction Treatment. And as always, thank you to Costa Broadcasting for allowing us to be here. And the guy behind the scenes, which is Lou Blasi. Thank you for all that you do for us and for believing that recovery is possible. All our shows can be found on Google, iTunes, Spotify, and now we have our own YouTube channel, which is the Empty Chair Podcast, which is currently going live as we are talking. So education, that is the vaccine that controls substance abuse, my favorite show of all times. Hello, Cole and Lou. Hi, Phil. We love you. Some events, sober, you're sober, you're new in recovery. There are many events to get involved in. On Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, there is a boat that leaves Plum Island at 6:30. The cost is $15. It's an AA meeting out on the cruise, so you watch the sunset. Sometimes someone brings a trumpet and they play music. So it's a beautiful experience. We also have the Field of Dreams coming up, and that is a yearly event that takes place in Salem, New Hampshire. And it is actually Saturday, June 25th from 12 to 6. It's at the Field of Dreams in Salem, New Hampshire. They're going to have live music, speakers. There's grills on site, so bring your own food to cook. And also, I was just made aware of the young people, NICIPA, which is New England something young people group. They're having a kickball tournament, which is Saturday, June 25th from 12 to 5. And that is 9 players per team. And it is happening at the Daring Oaks Park in Portland, Maine. And I have information on that if anyone wants to attend that. Again, I just want to remind everyone that the Circle of Hope, which is a family support group, meets every Monday evening, 6:30 to 8 at the Methuen Police Department in Sanborn Hall. It is not meeting this Monday because it is a holiday. June 19th is Juneteenth, or what? Yeah, Juneteenth is what the holiday is being observed. So we will not be there. However, Phil and Fran Leahy are a phone call away for anyone. Every week there is meetings that are going on. We have Celebrate Recovery, which is a 12-step Christian-based program. They meet Tuesdays at the Rock Church in Plastow, Wednesdays at 60 Island Street in Lawrence. Thursday, I believe it's at Ray of Light Cafe. And also, speaking of Ray of Light Cafe, have you guys gone there yet?
No.
It's a pretty cool place. Yeah, it's like a sober club. So they have meetings every Monday through Friday at noontime. On Friday nights, they have a book called Drop the Rock, which is an amazing, after you go through the process. Drop the Rock is steps 6 and 7, and it's just a great way to keep you accountable. Things that you might not have let go of. On Saturdays at 7 p.m., they have a speaker meeting. And on Sundays at 7 p.m., they do a study of the big book. So Ray of Light Cafe can be found at 92 Merrimack Street in Haverhill. It's right above the A1 Deli. And for more information, you can reach out to Diana Teal at 603-489-7061. Also, another place to give back to would be the Movement Family. This is a weekly opportunity to feed the homeless in Lawrence. It's a great opportunity to be of service. You can show up and serve food or just be present to those that are there, or you can, as always, sponsor a meal. They meet 8 to 10 p.m. at the bus station in Lawrence, Mass. If you want more information on that, you can reach out to Michael Gorman at 978-697-9691, or as always, you can reach out to me. And let's see, I think that's all I have. We have Music Fest going on, and every Wednesday night at Salisbury, Mass, there's music. I know that there's fireworks on Saturday, but that's it. That's all I have. So now we get to the fun stuff. This show is to bring hope to people like ourselves when we were out there struggling, like we didn't have this. And I've been saying since 2019 that anyone who got sober during the pandemic, like my hats are off to them, because to get sober on a screen and to go to a meeting on a screen, there's a lot difference than having a touch and a feel and a sight. And so congratulations if you got sober from 2019 on during a pandemic. You're an absolute miracle. Because I myself back in 1987, I don't think, were you guys born yet in 87?
No way.
Yeah, thanks.
94, baby.
Nice. So yeah, I got sober in basements of churches where we could smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, and there was a lot of we had the Rowback Club, which was a sober club for everyone to hang out at. So it was just different times. So I'm just I'm happy that anyone who chose to get sober since 2019, that you're here and that you're still plugging along. So with all that being said, I want to introduce these two men. The one sitting right next to me is very special, very near and dear to my heart. This young man came in through the side doors of my employment at 4:30 in the morning, and I got a call at 5:30 in the morning to either come in or he was going to jail. And I showed up in my pajamas and met this young man who I got to say just celebrated a year of sobriety on the 14th. Woo-hoo! And he's an absolute miracle. And it's my favorite part of my job, and my favorite part of just being in recovery is to witness the miracle happening to those. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how we met and your journey and a little bit about your experience, strength, and hope. Because I know, and if anyone wants to call and speak to these individuals while we're here, the phone number is on the screen, and it's 978-659-0072. Feel free to call in, make comments. We also have the chat going on. So I can see a lot of people saying hi. I see Michelle, Phil, Scott, Liz. Oh, hi, Liz. And get a bunch of people talking already, but I'm going to just hand it off and get the show rolling. So hello, my friend.
What's going on?
Hi.
Hi. Hey, everybody. My name's Devyn.
Hi, Devyn.
Alcoholic and addict.
Hello. Welcome.
I just want to say hi to Derek. It's my good friend, Derek Pickles over there.
Hey, Derek Pickles.
That's
Stay strong.
Yeah. So, my journey started, I really didn't choose this. Like Cole said, I stumbled into a side door of a police station like I usually do at 4 a.m. Yeah, man, but it was rough. I hit bottom a lot, but I never really hit my real bottom until that night about a year ago. And, going through all this, I really did learn a lot about myself. I learned, that being sober is honestly the best thing for me, and probably will be the best thing for me the rest of my life.
Amen.
I also gained a lot of respect for other people in and out of the program. I also opened my eyes up to things that, I never thought I'd have interest in. But anyways, just a quick little background about myself. I grew up normal home, normal parents, nothing crazy. They had food on my table, shirt on my back, roof over my head. I grew up in Methuen, Mass, pretty much my whole life until, I was about like 23, and played hockey, I played football, I was an athlete. But, with that being said, there was parties, and, I was always one at a party that, like I said before, I thought people were laughing with me, but I was really getting laughed at. And, and I would just be a shit show or a mess, an absolute mess. Didn't care about myself. I didn't care about others. My only goal was to get as jacked up as I possibly could. And, with that being said, that opened a lot of bad doors for me too at the same time, ending up in holding cells a lot and fighting and just being a menace to society, not being a part of productive society. And, that night that I walked through those doors and I met you. I should have been in Middleton, but I met you, and it was great. Probably like the best moment of my life, looking back at it, realizing it now. I rehab, I never even knew what that really was. Like I said before, I thought it was just a song, and it's not. It's not a bad place, but it's good in a bad place. It just depends on who you are. And I went to one place and I got the boot out of there, and then I ended up in a psych ward. And when I came out of there, I went to the Wenham house.
What he's not saying is that he caused him getting the boot out of the first place, which led him to the psych ward.
I may or may not have caused
to me calling him and screaming at him on the top of my lungs.
Yeah, that is definitely correct. But hey, it's the way it went. Yeah. And I'm actually really kind of thankful for that moment, because I stepped foot into this house in Wenham, Mass, and it was a blessing in disguise. I walked into that house completely broken, busted up face, wearing clothes on my back that were covered in booze. It just bloody. It was just a mess, just an absolute mess. And when I walked in those doors, there was a couple of men in there, young men my age, that took me, like, pretty much picked me up off the ground, scraped me off the floor, and just helped guide me in the right direction. 12 steps were a big factor in my recovery and still are. I did not jump right into them right away. I
know.
I slacked. I was the guy that was laying in my bed at the sober house all day saying, this is a joke. I'm getting out of here in 30 days. I'm gonna go back to what I was doing, hanging out with the people I was hanging out with, causing the same trouble, just getting all jacked up again. But I'm gonna do it in a moderation this time. That never works. And I didn't do that. I ended up staying there for 4.5 3.5, 4 months. And it's probably, like I said, the best thing I ever did. And then, you know, I when I was all done with that place, I moved to an apartment with some awesome roommates I got.
Nice.
Brendan's one of them. And, you know, these guys, it's a big fellowship, you know, as they say, it's a fellowship. And no matter who you are, what you do, and if you're trying to keep yourself in the right track, you know, you're doing the right thing, you're helping others, people around you that are doing that, they just flock around you, and we feed off of that, you know, you feed off of that. And like I said, the guys that I live with now, they all got jobs. they all eat good. But we all take care of each other, you know. If someone's in a funk, or, you know, it's always, well, what's wrong, you know. It's never going to bed with a worry on your mind. I mean, and if you are, talk about it, you know. And it's great. And I was that guy that would, for example, go to bed and I would just think that the world's ended, you know. The world's ending. No one loves me. Everyone hates me. So I'm just going to get jacked up, man. You know, just get pinned. And that was not the case, you know. I'm an outgoing person as it is. And then, you know, with the drugs and alcohol, that's a shit show.
Nanya.
That's an ongoing joke with doing police department. That's a joke.
He didn't speak English when we arrested him. We were like, Devyn, what are you doing? He's like, Nanya.
Hey, grope Methuen, you know? Grope Methuen.
Nanya. They're like, how do you spell that for the report?
Shit. Yeah. That was that, you know. I still got to talk to that man that I got in a little scuffle with. But anyways, back to it. You know, I've also, this is a little side, I've lost some people during this whole process I've just been sober for a year, and, you know, and it's crazy. Just time flies, you know. A year ago, I was sitting in a bed and I had no phone. I snapped it in front of your office. And I sat there with myself, and I really, really I didn't know how to handle my emotions. I really didn't. I was a ball of anxiety, sadness, everything under the sun. I did not know how to handle it. I couldn't handle it. So I would just blow up and let my thoughts get the best of me until I met that fourth step. But it really, like I said, opened doors and changed the way I look at things now. You know, don't get me wrong. I still could be stubborn and look at things like, why is this happening to me? This isn't happening to no one else. You know, just the small things. But, you know, take a step back and look at it. I'm here today and take it a day at a time. You know. But yeah, ask me a question.
Ask you a question. So you went into the IOP.
Yep.
And then you constantly wanted to leave.
Yes.
So what was the motivation point that made you stay? Because there are people that I'll put into IOPs and they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm done. And what made you stay, and what did you learn by staying?
What honestly made me stay was...
Besides Caroline.
Yeah. She just keeps signing this paper. No, what made me stay, honestly, was I had a really good friend in there, too, that I noticed was being able to wake up in the morning and smile, like walk around the house. He wasn't wicked happy. He wasn't really sad. He was getting through, but each day was getting better. And I wanted that. And just seeing myself grow a little bit at a time, you know, like I said, it took me 2 months to even open the big book, and I just couldn't deal with it. But what made me really stay there was just wanting to be. So I started to really want it. You know, I started getting a little bit of friends back, you know, just the material things a little bit, but also I was able to look at myself in the mirror, you know, shaving my face, be able, let me do that now, but being able to look at myself, you know, being able to walk around with my chest up high saying, this is who I am now today. And I want to live the rest of my life like this, because I would be around later on when I got to see people like Sean and all them and you, the way they carried themselves and how happy they were to see each other. And like, we're going to a meeting at the bottom of a church, drinking Starbucks coffee here, and you guys are all wicked excited, you know? And that was like right in the beginning. But as we kept on doing that and meeting more people, and I really wanted I loved that energy, you know. These
Yeah.
guys and women walked around like their chins up high, happy, wanted to help one another, wanted to be a part of society, be productive, you know. And that's what really drove me to stay.
Awesome. You also had another bump that I was nervous that I was going to lose you on. Was you had a female that she was renting space in your head. You were like texting her, I'm not going to call her. Then you call me to tell me you call her.
Yeah.
How did you, like, that is a huge part for a lot of people that sends them back out or sends them on a path. How did you get over not following through with calling her and whatever? How did you get through that?
Well, in all honesty, I blocked the phone number.
And but be true, right? But wasn't that hard to do?
That was hard because what I was doing was I'd block her and then unblock her, and block her and unblock her.
Yeah.
And then after some time, I sat back and looked at it, and it took me, my mother, who would call me and see me once in a while, my grandmother, people around me. I was very codependent too at the time with her.
I know.
Very codependent. I thought that I needed this person to make me happy. Yeah. I'm going to run out of this place, go see you, we're going to be good. And that was not the case. I had to step back because everyone was telling me, listen to other people that are in this program. I had to listen to what they were saying, it was cut the tie completely. You can't have that connection. I was there at that place to focus on myself and myself only. Mm-hmm. But even when I got out of there and I was in the apartments for a little bit, that's like very towards the tail end, but I realized that every day I would start thinking less and less. And a sponsor once told me to pray about it.
Yeah.
Every week for a couple of weeks, pray about it. It even says it in the book, pray about it. And, honestly, at first I wasn't a big believer in God, but I know that there's something out there that's higher than myself.
Amen.
And I'd pray and it wouldn't stumble in my mind as much, Yeah. I would write a lot of inventory when I was at the house too, and
I think that was key.
Yeah,
was the inventory to get over her.
I never thought in my life I would sit there with 3 notebooks or 4 stacked up, being able to write stuff and like cry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
cry.
Yeah, man.
Especially real men cry.
Yeah,
real men cry.
Yeah,
and
I heard it here first.
Yeah, real men cry. Even yoked up men cry.
Yoked up men.
But no, it just really, really digging at myself. Really sitting there and like nitpicking myself. Yeah. And I don't want to fight myself, headbutt myself. I don't, can't really do that.
Yeah.
And it took a lot. It took a lot more than it should have, but eventually I got over it, and it was bad because I would let her talking to me really convince me that everything was I was okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't the problem. It was other people.
Yeah.
But I had a problem with myself. I never knew about it. I never knew. Never knew about it. I just covered it up with substances. And being that you're the cool kid, you're the kid that could do this, and nah, man, that's whack. Like
I'm a scared little kid inside.
Yeah, I really am.
Shut it up.
I really
Right?
am. You really are. You're just muffling it.
Yeah.
It's all you're doing. You're just drowning it out. Like, and people need to realize that. And I'm telling you, when you take all that stuff away, well, for me it was easy. I was young. I didn't lose a house. I lost some things, but even for the older folks out there too, it's just when you take all that stuff out and you really can look at yourself and you can sit there and look at yourself and you can get through the other side. Yeah. That shows a lot about your character, that there's a lot to you that you don't even know about.
Amen.
And everyone could say, I'm egotistic, I'm a narcissist, all this stuff.
Yep.
But you could say it, but do you believe it?
Right.
Yeah. And
how old are you?
I'm about 25 next month.
So there's a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
So you come into the program at 23.
Yeah.
You get sober.
Yep.
Past year, right? You went from not having
shit show.
You were a shit show. Losing your job or putting it on hold because we had the FMLA going on for you. You go into sober living. You get rid of a girl that is definitely would have taken you out. Would you have hooked up with that?
Absolutely.
And you kept on working the program. So if you're tuning in tonight, like this is a living testimony of someone who's young, who got it, who continues to get it because he continues to work on himself on a daily basis. And I love it. And not only that, but we go to court. You have time looking over your head.
Yep. Yeah.
And because you do the next right thing, you are now, once you hit a certain mark, like this is wiped out. This is huge. And these are the benefits, not just staying sober, because a lot of you can just stay sober and get it, but like you're doing the next right thing.
Not
so every time you do the next right thing, you get like another gift, and here's the gift. You're not looking at jail, if you screw up between now and the time it's over, yeah, you would, but you haven't. And then the biggest thing was writing your letters for employment. So do you want to let us know what you all just got accepted into?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess now this is going out there. I hope my boss ain't watching. But yeah.
You don't have to say where, but what happened? Like I
got a great job opportunity.
Yeah.
I really did. I really did. I was looking at the thing.
You're afraid to say it.
But yeah, kind of.
You don't want to say it, but you just got an opportunity that you
yeah.
wouldn't have gotten if you weren't clean and sober.
No, you know what? I honestly, how I met the person or the person to help me, I met him at an AA meeting, and he gave me a phone number, and I hounded this person for like 2 weeks straight, and he finally answered, said, "You want a job?" And it took off from there. I went to a big event. Met some more people there.
Amen.
And a man over here, Brendan, he helped me out too in a tremendous way with his sponsor. And I owe all these people that helped me a big thanks. But if I was out there, I wouldn't even be able to pass a piss test. I wouldn't be able to get my foot in the door. Never like it's great though. Like gifts come, everything will come with time, no matter how big or small they are.
Amen.
But also, I wanted to answer Phil. Can I answer Phil?
You can go scroll up and down because there's a lot going on over here, and then once you answer
there is
everyone,
a lot going on.
So,
oh yeah.
Did you say hi back?
What's going on, Luke?
All right.
T-Bone.
And then you have.
Is that Luke downstairs, Luke?
No, that's my boy T-Bone.
Oh, word.
Love you, T.
Yeah.
Scott, I think
Oh, thank you, Michelle, for bringing that up. Circle of Friends. That's a huge event that's happening at Hampton Beach. I think it's August 1st or 7th. I will get information on that, Michelle. Thank you for bringing that up. And it is happening this year at Hampton Beach. There's anywhere from 600 to 1,200 individuals that show up for that every year. When it started, we were, I think, on L Street at Leo's cottage. And it has people drive from like New Jersey, New York to come to this event. It's a pretty amazing and powerful event. At the end, we make a circle and have a meeting, and it's pretty powerful to be around that type of recovery. Yeah, Zach.
Londo.
We have Peter Donato is my friend Kathy. Her husband passed away, and she keeps his name up. So she wants to play kickball. And the young people, oh, yes, Kathy, you'd run out crying the first time a ball hit you. Liz, I already said hi to. Derek, you guys said hi to. Kathy, the captain, sure. You can be the freaking cheerleader. Ray Donovan, we're proud of you.
Ray,
Devyn,
love you, buddy.
Taylor Dyer, Life's a Garden, dig it.
I will.
Scott and Fran are having conversation. Oh, Scott's wishing you a 1 year.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it, brother.
And how are you doing with your parents?
I am doing great.
Yeah.
My father doesn't want to bring me out by the neck no more.
Amen.
After all the times he's told me to listen, I should have listened the first time. And I hope when he hears this, he's going to say, I told you so. My mother, she can sleep at night now.
Amen.
It's great. She doesn't have to worry. But she knows the truth about everything. So.
And not only your parents, but I said, like, you're a role model to your two sisters.
Yeah.
Which is huge because you have one that can go either way, and then one's a
Olivia,
baby.
Cecilia. Yeah, Cecilia, I got to stop getting tattoos because every time I see her, she wants tattoos. And she's all got marker all over herself. So she wants to look like her brother.
And how old is she?
5.
Yeah. Yeah. So he awesome with your parents. And then we have Dave Spencer. So cool to hear about Big Book in action, simple solutions for complicated people. Amen. Christopher, Yes, Phil Leahy does my heart good to see people at some young age.
Keith.
Also, Fox Run here in support and love to see you guys doing great things. That's awesome. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to hear Brendan's experience, strength, and hope. Again, if you want to call and talk to these gentlemen, or if not, keep the feed going. But we'll be right back in just 1 minute.
Hi there. My name's Phil Leahy, and I do the Empty Chair show here. And as much as Fran and I have enjoyed doing this show, our real passion is with where it all began, the Circle of Hope, my support group for the families of addicts. I learned a long time ago that dealing with an active addict is just too difficult. So we invite you to join our group, the Circle of Hope. Give me a call, 978-886-2949, and you'll see our banner on the show anyway. And give me a call, find out what it's all about. You know, if you don't think you're ready to sit into a group, Fran and I always invite people over to the house, and we sit down, have a one-on-one, and we talk about a plan you'll have to set up, how to deal with someone in active addiction, or just give you a chance to vent. So, I mean, if you or someone you know has dealing with someone in active addiction, reach out, give a call, take the first step. I promise you that it won't make it easier, but once you understand what it's all about, you'll be able to deal with it a little bit better. So again, 978-886-2949. Just ask for Phil. I'm always available 24/7. Thanks, and we'll see you on the Empty Chair. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to the second half. I hope you enjoyed the first half with Devyn, and I know I certainly did. And based on the news feed, it looks like people are enjoying the show. So I had the honor and privilege to meet this young man only on Tuesday. Brendan, who I was calling Brandon, he's like, just think of the Irish, and that's the way I'm going to remind it. Now that I look
Real
at you,
Irish.
good
The
Lord, do
real
you
Irish.
watch Pinky Blinders?
I do. You think I look like him?
Wasn't it the best show ever?
It's good.
I just can't get enough of it. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It is so nice to meet you. And not only do we have this beautiful soul that connects us, we also have my lifetime friend, Chris, who I absolutely adore in each other's life. So it's
Such
a small world. But like my partner at work always says, she's like, oh, everyone knows you no matter where we go. So it's funny. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And love to hear your experience, strength, and hope. Because you too, how old are you?
28.
You're 28. And you have a year and a half?
Yeah, a little over a year and a half.
Amen.
Almost 19 months.
Amen.
Oh,
so tell us a little
crazy.
bit about how and why your addiction got
right.
started, and most importantly, why you chose recovery.
Yeah. Kind of like Devyn. You know, I didn't really choose recovery at first. I really didn't want to be sober. You know, I had this big fear that if I get sober, life's going to suck. You know, I had this huge fear about getting sober. I'm not going to be able to do anything. You know, I'm not going to be able to go out with my friends. You know, I'm not going to, you know, I'm just going to be alone and sober. You know, who wants to do that?
Right.
But, you know, I'm here to start off with that. That couldn't be farther from the truth. You know, there's really no negative. I can't think of one negative, from getting sober in my life. Everything in my life today is just, you know, such a blessing, from work to relationships with my family, relationships with my friends, you know, they've never been stronger because they're more real now.
Authentic,
you know what I mean? They're more real. You know, this is me. And,
Amen.
You know, the sober me, it's the most just confident, secure, you know, people, you know, getting sober, people get a little nervous, you know, people are going to talk, right. You know, would you rather have them talking about you getting, you know, messed? Would you rather have them talking about what you're actually doing, or would you rather have them talk about your past? You know, what can they say now? You know?
Yeah. I remember when I was getting sober, I would only go to meetings in Derry, New Hampshire. I wouldn't go in this area. And my mother's like, why are you traveling? And I'm like,
Just fear.
well, because they're all gonna know like that I'm an alcoholic. And she's like, you're in every newspaper. I think they figured it out.
Yeah.
Why don't you stay local? And that was it. Like, would you rather people talk about me, getting my life together, or
And
causing the havoc that I was causing?
That's part of it, owning it. Like, you got to own it. Like, lying is a huge part of my story. Like, I lied really to everybody, but mostly to myself every day. Yeah. Lying to myself, living in this insanity. And, that's not the case today. Everything's out in the open. Everything's honest. And yeah, I just wanted to start with that. But a little background, brief background. Just grew up in Scituate. Mom and dad still together. Hey, mom and dad, if you're watching.
Hi, mom and dad. You got a beautiful son.
Older sister, younger brother. I was middle child. Definitely have all those traits of whatever that psychologist's name is that described the middle child as. Yeah, whatever. I'm that's me. We're still working on all those. But yeah, grew up in Scituate. But there's this term, in recovery called RID. It stands for restless, irritable, and discontent. And I heard a guy who works at Top Sale. His name's Chris Cap. He always talked about how he had RID before the drugs and alcohol. And, I related to that like tenfold, because that was me. Like, I played sports, had everything you could want as a child growing up, but like, it still wasn't enough. Like, it wasn't enough to like fill whatever void that was inside me that I wasn't okay with. I used drugs and alcohol to fill that void. Started smoking weed, drinking, and then, found opiates, and that was it right there. That was the key.
How were you introduced to opiates? How did they come play into your life?
First pill I took was an oxycodone 10.
But was it given to you by a doctor?
No, I stole it from my father, believe it or not. Yeah, I found prescription drugs in his drawer. Yeah. Just took off. How old were
you when you did that?
15.
Okay.
Yeah, sophomore in high school. And then that just happened to be the same time as that perk 30s were around. They were big. Yeah. And, pretty much spent all of high school selling weed to support a perk habit. It's crazy. And people, definitely some kids knew, but, it was pretty hush hush,
So back then, because you're young, you were in high school and you're talking about the perks, like, were there dealers or were these real drugs that we were taking from cabinets? Like,
no, yeah, they were dealers. We used to go down to a lot of
Brockton area. Okay.
Brockton.
I mean, because now everything's
I don't think anything's changed. I don't think that's a secret or anything.
But now, like, everyone's like they're pressing them, they're making.
Yeah,
them.
I didn't get into that.
I didn't know if you were at a time where you were actually receiving like a real perk.
Yeah, I was getting real perks because I switched from perks to dope when I was 18. Okay. And I never looked back. I mean, waste of money. You know. So that went on. Pretty much battled like a functioning, like I was talking about earlier, like just pretty much just like this crazy double life I was living, because like I would meet people, form relationships, and like, I always had this like secret that I was carrying with me. And, I get days, weeks, sometimes even months of, just staying off the shit, but like I could never fully, escape from it. And
did mom and dad know you?
Yeah. I overdosed when I was 21 in my parents' house.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew. And they had known before that.
Did they have Narcan in the house to save you?
No, police, Narcan.
Really?
Yeah,
You're very lucky.
Yeah, my brother found me.
Younger brother?
Yeah, older brother.
So the girl's the older?
Yeah.
And then you, older. And then him. Yeah. Okay. So, and how traumatizing was it for him?
Pretty much. Yeah, extremely traumatizing. Yeah. Think about that a lot. He saved my life.
No shoot. Amen.
But yeah. To the,
is that how mom and dad found out that you were on drugs? Was there an overdose?
I think so, but they definitely knew before. Just didn't want to,
address it.
Have that conversation, with their son.
Yeah. Thinking that we'll just grow out of it. And blah, blah, blah. No, I get it. Yeah.
So, fast forward to 26. And, you know, through all this, you know, I was struggling. I have a best friend that's been there with me. I just got to shout out Xavier real quick if you're listening. Like, this man has just been there for me. He's known
Amen.
since day one. He's just stuck by me through it all. It's crazy to have a friend like that. Because, you know, you feel like you don't deserve like that, you know, in your life, you know, when you're just continuously like, you know, doing that stuff, you know, behaving like that. And, you know, he bailed me out of rehab when I was 26. I flew down to Carolina, got a job, was playing soccer. And then I came back for Thanksgiving. This is leading up to how I got sober and stayed sober.
Nice.
You know, it was Thanksgiving. You know, I had probably 6 months off it. And, you know, the obsession just was insane. I actually rented a car from North Carolina and drove home for Thanksgiving. I didn't want to fly because it was cheaper. And I drove straight to this girl's house, right? Stayed there. And then on my way back to my parents' house, I stopped at the dude's. I didn't even see my family sober. I hadn't seen them in 6 months.
Wow.
So that's how real the obsession is. And that's like literally the last thing like I thought I would do.
Right.
But I did it because I had no defense. I had no defense. I wasn't in control.
Yeah.
I wasn't in control.
Yeah.
You know,
Thanksgiving was a huge thing for myself on how many I slept through, how many I never showed up for, because you always have that football game in the morning, you know, and then I'll be right back. And so, yeah, Thanksgiving was a rough holiday, which is a rough holiday if you're sober too. Like we do our trifecta of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. But
it's a lot.
so Thanksgiving, you don't come home for dinner?
No, I was there. I was just high as balls.
And did they know?
Oh yeah, they knew. And I woke up the next day on Friday. I'll never forget. You know, my dad told me to leave. My sister looked at me and said I was disgusting, and I was. And then, you know, I stayed at a buddy's house for a couple of days, and then, you know, I met a kid named Kenny in RCA. He was my roommate, and you know, he was sober. He was doing the right thing, and I gave him a call. And next thing you know, he actually didn't know if I was coming because I literally wanted nothing to do with recovery, and it was a strict 12-step house. And he's like, I don't know if you want to come. This doesn't really seem like you want to do this. And I told my dad about it. My dad made a phone call, and next thing you know, we're driving in the car out to Wenham. And that's the day literally everything changed. And change is like the biggest word, like the biggest word that I've learned in recovery. Change. Like, it's got so much meaning to it, you know, because there's action behind, like, we can change, but there's action behind it. You need to do the things, right, to change. And it is possible. Like, me and Devyn, like, we went to the same place. We went to the Wenham house, you know. We wrote step work every day. Like, that's an action right there.
When you were there,
writing.
you guys, I remember someone had relapsed when you were there, and he had a real hard time with it. How did you handle that?
We had
like, did it make you think, like,
honestly, I was so
too?
messed up when I was like a month sober. I was and we were in such a strict environment that like any little thing that was going wrong was like the end of the world. So like when someone did relapse, it was like I remember sitting in Daryl's office, the old program director, being like, why is this happening? Like, what do we do? Like, why aren't we doing enough? Like, you know, just like not understanding, like, you know, we have no control over what other people do.
Correct.
You can only control what you do. And I had a real hard time accepting that, as I'm like hammering my program director, who's probably helped hundreds of people, literally, like trying to tell him he's not doing his job. Like, look at this kid with a month sober.
All right, we got a phone call, so put on your headset so you can hear who's calling, because I have no idea who it is. Hello.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil. It's wicked loud.
Listen, you know, like I said, I always feel really pumped when I see young guys finding recovery. But I have a question for one of them or both of them. You guys are still pretty early in your recovery. I mean, year and a half, whatever. I'm just curious to know, did your parents, your family, did they get involved in any kind of support groups or anything like that? How did they handle it?
Can you hear him?
I can hear him.
Okay, so he wanted to know if mom and dad got
Yeah, they did.
involved in any kind of support groups, and if so, talk a little bit about that.
Did yours?
No,
His dad wanted him to just graduate and be done,
yeah, my old man, my
but
father,
not out of disrespect. just out of,
my old man, the way I grew up with him is I needed to learn everything on my own, and that's exactly what he did. He let me learn on my own,
Yeah.
and in all honesty, that was, for me personally, that was probably the best thing, because I really felt how disappointed and sad he was,
Mhm.
and I'm actually thankful he didn't, because there was times where I, like I said, needed to find myself, and it kind of got me a little messed up, but
That's all right.
it's good.
They were in contact with me
Yeah,
throughout your early recovery.
my
Yes.
mother, she saw me, she talked to me, love him out, but I love my father too, but
Yes.
my dad's a man's a man. He's when needed me to learn my lesson. I dug the grave. I mean, I remember he wouldn't talk to me, and then it was something else.
What about you? Your parents?
Yeah,
They
my
involved?
parents have been involved for probably since I overdosed. They went to a recovery support group in Situate, and I don't think they go anymore. I don't know. I know they were going like right after that, and I mean, rightfully so. They were in complete shock,
PTSD.
Yeah.
How are we helping you? What
Yeah.
are they supposed to be doing now? So we have that on Monday evenings. I had to take the headset off; it was way too loud.
I
is.
couldn't hear.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't hear.
Getting the families involved is key. I believe for a lot of individuals that make it, it's the ones that
Yeah.
have like the families that are invested in
Yeah.
their children. So it's a tough one. Brendan, I'm so happy for you. That was the most important phone call you ever made. You and Devyn are strong to have made it.
Thank
Keep
you,
doing the good work. You guys have entire lives ahead of you. God bless to you both.
Danny.
Thank you.
We got another call?
You inspire
Oh,
me,
okay.
brother.
Okay. All right. So
All
finish.
right. I'll touch on I worked in treatment for 4 months too.
Where?
At Mayflower as
That's
a
how I know
part-time
you,
behavioral
right?
health tech.
Maybe?
Yeah.
No. But just like it's just really, I don't know, because there's a solution, right?
Yeah.
There's a solution. So
Yes.
we have this illness, but there's a solution, and it's so hard trying to get people to see it. And what we found it, right? Like we found it through the step. Like we know there's a solution. We know it works. We know we've changed. And trying to get people to see that is so. It's got to be the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult thing. But like
I think David Spencer said it. It's like the roughest disease with like the simplest. What did he say? Because he said it the best. To a big book in action, simple solutions for complicated people. And that's
Literally.
all. Do we have another call? Oh, you do. Put your headset on.
I can't.
Actually, here you can put mine on.
Yeah.
You can tell me who's calling.
Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Devyn.
Hey.
Nichols. Hey, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you, and you're going to do big things, man. I know you are. So proud of you.
Thank you, brother. You say
Especially,
Chris.
Pickles?
oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going. Hey, brother. Sorry, this headset's cranking, dude.
Yeah, I know. I saw you struggling.
Yeah, but hey, man, I appreciate all the help, and I really appreciate you and all the boys and everyone sticking by me through this whole thing, and you guys really, really mean a lot to me. Mean the world,
Absolutely, man. That's what friends are for.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Pickles.
The volumes are down on the box right there, right in front of you.
Oh, this one.
Yep.
All right. So I think this is, there we go.
Oh,
Perfect.
nice.
All right, now you're out. So back to your story, young man.
All right. So I get to the Wenham house.
Yeah.
Don't want to be there. And I walk into the office with these two guys, Daryl and Jared, and they just dissect me within like 2 minutes. It was crazy. I've never been spoken to like that before. Like I told them, like, I'm not this. Like, this isn't for me. Like, probably shouldn't be here. Like, I'll be here for 30 days and then see you later. And wow, they just hit the nail on the head. And the biggest thing, so I've been to treatment twice. I was 21 and I was 26, and that's 5 years apart. And they obviously learned that. And then he looked at me, he goes, what if you come back here at 31? Same thing. 5 years apart with nothing to show for it. And that literally just scared the absolute shit out of me.
Nice.
And just right then and there, I'm like, all right, you know what? This guy, I like this guy. And, you know, he's right. He is what it is. He was right. Everything he was saying was right. And, you know, that night, opened up the book, read the doctor's opinion for the first time, and every single word just resonated with me. And I think I was talking about it on Sunday meeting. I do a Zoom meeting every Sunday with my sponsor, just a small group of guys. It's really good. Get a lot out of it because you get to speak on it. You know, it's not like a big meeting where you have to raise your, you know, you feel like you're taking up time or whatever. And, oh shoot, what was I saying? Doctor's opinion. Oh yeah, that feeling, right? Of like, I'm in a house with a bunch of random people that I've never met, and somehow, some way, I feel so comfortable and so secure, and I feel like I'm in the right place. I will never forget that feeling reading that book. Also, this dude's from Malden, just straight screaming it at me like in the most raspiest Boston accent. He's so loud. And it was great though, because he's a good public speaker, and you know, it really, like, it resonated even more. And you know, time went on. You know, I just got into I got into the 4th step. You know, I just wrote every day, and I'm not lying. Like, I can truthfully look at you and say that I wrote every day. And I got mad when I finished my resentments, and they put me onto fears, and they made me wait a couple days. I got mad. I'm like, why aren't you gonna let me? Why aren't you gonna let me, like? You know what I mean? Like, let me finish. It wasn't even to get off restriction. It was because I just wanted to get this shit out.
Your chest.
Wanted this out and gone.
Amen.
And yeah, you know, it took not a long time, but like, you know, I remember being like 4 months sober. Like, I started making amends. I'm like, wow, I feel really good, but like, should I? You know, like, but that's what the steps will do for you. Like, you just get, you know, you do it right, you're gonna feel something right away. And you know, gratefully I've continued, you know, but it's all due to, it really is all due to the, you know, 12 steps of
Amen.
That's the solution.
the 12 steps.
Amen.
That's really what got me sober, helped me stay sober, and makes me want to continue to be sober. I've never been this happy in my life, and it's, you know, it's a beautiful thing. It's crazy coming from.
So how do your family, talk about mom and dad and your brother that found you, and your sister? Are they back in your life?
Oh, they were all, well, that's the thing. They were always in my life.
Amen.
They never left.
Okay.
They were always there. They just wanted me to get well.
Amen.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky.
And you have
Very lucky.
relationships with all of them?
Oh yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Staying at Shayla's house Friday night, buddy. Get ready. I got work early in the morning. I call her today because one of my best friends is coming in from Orlando on Friday, and I got to pick him up at the airport. It's like it's the kid I was talking about earlier, that kid that's just been there for me since every step of the way, and it's like our thing, you know, scoop him at the airport. And I found out I have to work early the next morning. I work for a union piping. Like, we start at like 5:30. Like, I have to be there at 5, and it's in Somerville. It's in Boston. I don't want to drive all the way back to Andover. You know, and then drive all the way back. So I call her and I'm like, yeah, so Friday night, like, can I stay over? And she's like, like, I don't know, like asking me why, pretty much. And I'm like explaining why. And then she's like, I'm like, why can't it just be like a yes or, like, you don't have to like go through like the logistics of I'm like, yo, I can either pick you up if you're out, like, you can unlock the door, like, because she has a buzzer to beep you in. And it's just like, it's just always, you know, it's never a yes, no. It's
Don't send me over the edge.
Yeah, it's a
just
little
yes or no.
Just give me yes. Like, it's okay if it's
Someone's
no,
getting
but it's
phone call later.
but it's a yes. It's
Amen.
a yes. So I'll see you tomorrow night.
It's probably gonna bring the Xbox and put
Yeah,
some chill.
all the relationships are good.
Amen.
They've never been better.
Amen.
Londo, I love you, buddy.
Too sweet. So you have a job. And I keep saying
Never not had a job.
Yeah.
which is great,
Yeah,
because
never.
typically
Function,
we don't.
kind of functioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Porta potties are my friend.
Yes. You have a great job, right? You're
but I have
a
the
good
best. I have
brother.
a career on the
Amen.
way now. That's what it really is. Like I have a career path set
Amen.
out for me. All the goals that I set when I first got sober, I am crossing them off.
And that's what recovery does for us, right?
Yep.
You know,
Straight
and
up.
it all starts
Do
by
whatever you
showing
want.
up
Yeah.
at a men's sober house saying, I'm giving you 30
Literally.
days. That's
Yeah.
all you're getting. You, I think, weren't even giving me that. I think you're giving me 2
It's
weeks.
giving you like a week.
Yeah.
Let's don't
You're
work for in a
outta
week.
here.
I'm out of here.
You know, and then all of a sudden they talk about it in the big book about like we have like a spiritual
Psychic
awakening, a
change.
psychic change,
Mhm.
spiritual awakening, and here it is. And you're like, oh my gosh, I want this stuff out of me because
Yeah.
it's a secret to keep us sick.
Yeah.
You know, it's what we keep locked in, that we're our own prisoners, you know, and now that it's out, do you work with other individuals? Are you helping other men
Yeah,
in AA?
Right now, currently, yeah.
Amen.
Yep.
And that
Stayed
to
with
me
it.
is
I
what
worked
it's
at
all about.
Mayflower, but I've continued. I mean,
Yep.
through what hopefully when I get into my sponsor works with guys in the union
Amen.
who are looking to get sober. And
Amen.
he runs a recovery
He's a
week.
great
And that's the
man.
whole thing
Yeah.
about like you want to be quiet about it at your job. Like
Yeah, I
you're
don't know
gonna
why,
you're
I just-
going to be
Yeah.
gonna be the go-to point
Yeah.
because I can tell you when I worked at a facility prior to where I'm at now, the phone call I at least got 5 phone calls a week because we were the hospital for the union rep. I forget which branch was sent to us. 5 a week
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
needing. So like to be that person, like they're gonna say, hey, you know what? You know, Devyn's gonna know what we can do and we can get him hooked up, which is kind of like what I do based on the phone calls. Like I knew when I met you and I learned a little bit about your background. That's how I knew to hook you up with Sean and that whole group. Like
Yeah.
you try and put
Shout out,
people with
Sean.
like-minded people. Yes, he's
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah.
And
Sean,
because I said it at the meeting the other night, like you want to see what your future looks like.
Yeah.
Look around you and who you're hanging around with. You know, you want to be successful. You want to set goals. You want to reach them. Then you hang around with people that are setting goals, successful, sober, and doing these things. You guys feed off of each other. And that's how miracles happen. And it's all because you chose to get clean and sober at a young age.
Mhm.
Like it's a beautiful thing for the both of you.
Yeah. Probably the best decision of my life.
Amen.
Hands down.
Amen.
Hands down.
You know,
No questions
Amen.
asked.
No.
But-
So,
6:56.
do you have anything else you want to add? Anything you want to say? If someone's listening and they're struggling
If-
right now, what would be your word of advice to them?
My word of advice? Well, one, hit a meeting and talk. Raise your hand.
Yeah, raise your hand. Go to a
Talk
meeting,
to
raise your
people.
hand, ask for help.
What about
You
phone
have to do
numbers?
that.
Do we get phone
Phone-
numbers?
Well, they'll
Yeah.
come to you.
Yeah.
They will just
They will
swarm
come
to you.
flock.
They will flock to you.
Crazy.
But you have to have that. You have to sit. You actually have to. That's that action part. You can't just show up at the meeting, say nothing, or else it's not going to work. You
Yeah,
have to
you
show
gotta-
up, raise your hand, because especially if you don't know anybody. Hopefully, you know somebody. But if you don't, you have to do that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
It is what it is.
All right. Well, I thank you both for your time and your service tonight, for being guests on my show. I love you both. And thank you to all those that tuned in. And yes, these two men are very inspirational, especially to the younger groups that we're losing left and right and coming into the program, and just the importance of staying in the program if you're grateful to make it in there. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Lou, for being here. Our next show will be on the 30th. And it will be with Jen Burns, not only Jen Burns, but Dr. Jen Burns. She just got her
Wow.
Psych D, and she's living proof that if you stay sober, you can accomplish anything. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. If you're hurting, please pick up the phone, reach out. You're not alone. We want you, we need you, and we love you. Good night, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.